Right, let's go. So last week's video was all about ISAs. And one of the things that I want to do, and I want to be very, very conscious of going forward doing videos, is I don't want to mention something, leave that topic alone, then leave you guys kind of in limbo, like, I have questions, you mentioned something, you've not covered it. And to be honest, that was a realization that I came to last week. And the reason why I made the ISA video, because I was like, I realized that I've done all these investment videos and said, guys, you have to start with your ISAs, tax efficiency first. And I never gave you any context or any content around ISAs. So I want to be true to that sentiment of being consistent and being able to provide you guys content that is interlinked and interlaced. And there's benefit for you because you get to have all of that information with the right context. And there's benefit for me because guess what, guys? I want you watching a lot of my videos and I want you guys sharing it with people that you know as well. So there's benefit in it for me and you. So off the back of the video last week where we talked about ISAs, I did mention when I spoke about lifetime ISAs that you need to be mindful of whether you use a lifetime ISA for planning for retirement, so using it as a pensions vehicle and paying into a pension. So in this video, I want to address that squarely, give you some content, give you some context, and also share some of my experience because, as you know, I am a 15-year veteran in financial services. I've been in wealth management for 8 years, and I am a qualified financial advisor. So I know quite a bit about this subject, and I want to take everything that I've got in here, put it on here so that you guys can take notes and make the best financial decision possible. So lifetime ISAs were created for two main purposes. First one, to help people get on the property ladder. It's an assistance program for deposits. So your allowance every single tax year is £4,000. The government will give you 25% of anything that you pay into the lifetime ISA as a bonus. So on £4,000, you're going to get £1,000 essentially. That limit is the same whether you're using it for first time purchase or whether you're going to be using it for a retirement fund. That limit is still exactly the same. Now, one thing that did come across in the comments as a question from last week's video was, well, Pete, if I pay in £4,000 into a lifetime ISA every single year, you've told me that my tax allowance is £20,000, can I still open another ISA and pay in £16,000 so I'm utilizing my full allowance without breaking any contribution rules? The answer to that is yes, you can, because you're only using £4,000 of your £20,000 allowance. You are allowed to pay the extra £16,000 in during this same tax year. What I'd recommend is you speak to your provider to make sure that you're aware of the best way of doing that. So you've got clear limits in terms of how much you can contribute into a lifetime ISA. Now let's have a look at that in a pension. Now with a pension, the maximum you can pay into a pension per year is £40,000. So that's a magnitude of 10. I mean, that's a big difference. Now, clearly, there are some restrictions in the fact that you can't be earning £25,000 and paying £40,000. You have to be earning £40,000 to pay in that £40,000. And the reason why the government has capped people's maximum they can pay into a pension on an annual basis is because they don't want fat cat CEOs, executives earning 300, 400, maybe £1 million a year, paying in £100,000 into a pension pot. They don't want that. So the limit is £40,000. But when you compare it to a lifetime ISA, it's a magnitude of 10. If you're looking at a comparison sheet and you're looking at numbers alone, pensions by far win that round because it's in the magnitude of 10. It's a lot more money that you can save into it. Not to mention as well, there's a load of free stuff that you get with a pension. So with a LISA, you're going to get 25% of £4,000 paid in for free from the government every single year. So effectively £1,000 free every single year. And often people think, well, you don't get free money from the government for a pension. And I always ask, well, do you or don't you? The reality is you do get free money from the government for paying into a pension. It's called tax relief. And To be honest, I don't know why they call it tax relief, because it's not really tax relief. They are giving you back your tax and your contributions. So let me just give you this example. If you are a basic rate taxpayer and your basic rate tax is 20%, for every pound that you pay in, the government is going to pay in your tax rate for you. So for every pound, 80p is what you pay in, 20p comes from the government, okay? So you're getting free money. It's not really a tax relief as such. They're giving you back your money, your tax effectively on your pension contributions. I don't really believe it's tax relief, but hey, that's what they call it. It's kind of more like a tax back in my head. And that is even more apparent and becomes even more impactful if you are a high rate taxpayer. So if you're paying 40 pence on every pound that you earn, you get the full 40 pence back. So that £1 then becomes, you're only contributing 60 pence. The 40p is coming from the government on your pension contributions. That's quite powerful. Now, all you have to do to claim that additional 20% is do a self-assessment. And if you're earning within that region, you're probably looking at doing a self-assessment anyway on a yearly basis, certainly when you start earning over 100,000 and so on and so forth. So that's a really clear benefit that you get with a pension. People don't think that. People don't understand that you get free money from the government. It's such a powerful thing. Like, who says no to free money? And with pensions as well, if you're an employee within a business, your employer now has to pay money into a pension for you. It's called auto-enrollment. It's law. They have to pay in 3% of your annual wages on your behalf into a pension. But still people opt out, which means that their employer can also opt out. So essentially, again, saying no to free money. And I just have to say that, if you are 25 years old and you're looking at this and you were considering a lifetime ISA for a pension, I applaud you. I really, really do, because at age 25, I've made no secret to the fact that I wish that I had done things differently. I wish that I'd acted a lot sooner when it comes to my retirement planning. I wish I knew this at age 25. I didn't know. And this, speaks to the power of information, knowledge, and access to that information and that knowledge. You don't know what you don't know till you don't know it. And I realized that I didn't know stuff until I was literally in my 30s. And that's when I started to seriously think about taking action. I didn't take action until probably about 33, 34 or so. But, that realization for me came much, much later, which is my mission here is to give you guys what I know and help you guys realize the epiphany that I had and why I'm taking action now and building my investment portfolios and my pension portfolio aggressively at this stage. So look, I hope you get this, and I hope that this really does inspire you. Pension is very, very close to my heart. So with a lifetime ISA, there were also restrictions on when you can pass. So with a lifetime ISA, there were also restrictions on how long you can pay into a lifetime ISA for. So for example, you cannot pay into a lifetime ISA beyond the age of 50. So if you're using this for retirement planning, then you're stuck, really. You can't pay any more money in beyond the age of 50. You compare that to pensions, and you can pay money in to any age that you want. You can pay in past 75, past 80. I don't know why you would. You probably wouldn't, but you could if you wanted to. So you're not restricted in that fashion, and that's really important to know. With a lifetime ISA, you have to wait until the age of 60 before you can actually use it to generate an income for yourself. That's 5 years longer than what a pension allows you access to your pension for. So within a pension, you access it at the age of 55. Now, 55 has always been a big contention with a lot of people when it comes to pensions. They say, well, I'm 25, that's 30 years off. Like, why would I put money into something now that I can't touch for 30 years? And look, let's be frank, guys. This takes some big picture thinking. You've got to think long term. You've got to put on your big boy pants, your big girl pants, and start thinking long term. If you can't do that, you're not going to see the benefit that this is going to deliver to you in the future. I mean, just go and watch my video when I talk about the importance of investing in your 20s, 30s, and 40s. I'm going to link it right there. You need to think about your future. You have to think long term. Yes, the present is important, but thinking about the future is also equally important. So watch that video, because you having these strategies in place are only going to pay you dividends, and you'll pat yourself on the back and you'll thank me later on if I'm still around doing YouTube videos, which I do plan to be, when you get to that stage in life where you've paid money into something on a consistent basis. You forgot that you're doing it, but guess what? You've got £500,000 there, £800,000 there, £1,000,000 there. You'll be very, very thankful for that. And that's just by taking action right now. So pensions, please don't overlook them. There are lots of free stuff in there. So age 55 has always been a contention because it is so far in the future. But with a pension, and I've seen clients who have done this. Like I said, I am a qualified financial advisor. I have advised clients on pensions. I've worked in the industry. I've worked for a pension provider. I know clients who have had £1 million in pensions on their 55th birthday. There's one thing that is available right now, which is beautiful. There's legislation that allows you to take 25% of whatever you've amassed in a pension completely tax-free. So for clients who I knew who had £1 million on their 55th birthday, they could take £250,000 in one lump sum or in a stage of withdrawals, completely tax-free, and they could do with that whatever they want. If they wanted to go and buy a Ferrari, they could go and buy a Ferrari. If they wanted to go buy a rental property to give them an income, or rental property that they could give to their kids or their grandkids, they can go and do that. Now, granted, that piece of legislation may not be around in 20, 25 years. We don't know if it will or not, but that is something that is available right now. Will they take that away? I don't know. There are already whisperings about state pension not being around. When I get to, 65 in 20 odd years, 25 years time, I've got to think about my age then, 25 years time. And that would affect me, that would affect you. But the state pension is only £7,000 to £8,000 a year. It's not a lot of money, but it's something. If it's not there in 20 years time, it places more importance on taking action right now and taking things like your pensions and your lifetime ISAs really, really seriously, and planning for the future, having one eye on the future. So look, tax-free cash is a beautiful thing. It's a huge benefit that people often don't realize that they have, and something that is often overlooked. But people often say, well, the government dictates, the government controls. Bullshit. No, they don't. There are lots of stuff that they're doing at the moment to incentivize people, and there's lots of benefits that can be brought forward when it comes to pensions over and above with a lifetime ISA. So with a lifetime ISA, you don't have that benefit. You can't take 25% of it completely tax-free, and you're going to be capped on the amounts that you can actually end up amassing because of the restrictions of not being able to contribute past the age of 50, which is a really, really big thing. So please bear that in mind. So let's just do some numbers, okay? Because I think that the numbers often paint a clear picture for people to see, all right? So with a lifetime ISA, the maximum you can pay in per year is £4,000. So when I say per year, I mean tax year. So April the 6th to April the 5th is £4,000. So let's just say you did this for 20 years, right? That's £80,000 you can pay into, or will amass over a 40-year period, into a lifetime ISA. You're going to get 20% of that free as a bonus given to you by the government, which means that over a 40-year period, you will have in contributions and government bonus amass £100,000. It's not to be gawped at, right? It's actually quite powerful. And I've not actually factored in things like investment returns. I've not compounded anything, but just purely your contribution levels would be £100,000, and that's you being capped at £4,000. Now, if you look at that same scenario, and you try to compare it to what you might amass in a pension, the number becomes so much more different, because guess what? You've got a magnitude of 10. A magnitude of 10 as a difference. Now, let's just say, right, you are earning £25,000 per year. Now, when you compare that to a pension, you have more of a capability to amass more than £100,000 over a 40-year period, because you're not capped at just simply contributing £4,000 per year. And this is where the free money element really does come into play. And, if there's one piece of advice that I can give you, and I don't like giving advice on this channel, but I can give you this, is If you are in your 20s, again, I applaud you. If you're thinking about this, I applaud you. You're doing the right thing. Let it be there in the back of your mind. If you're in your 30s, even better. But go and speak to your HR department. Go and ask them what your workplace pension scheme is all about, how auto-enrollment works. Those two phrases, so auto-enrollment and your workplace pension scheme. Ask them how it works. Let them explain it to you. Because a lot of these schemes will do things like matching. So they will say, Julie, if you contribute 8% of your annual salary into a pension, we will match it for you, which means you're then contributing 16% into a pension plan. Now, if you're earning decent money, that is a significant amount of money. You have that invested over the long term with average investment returns. Even if you're returning 5%, 10% per year on average, you start to compound that up, you're going to amass a larger amount in a pension fund than you would do in a lifetime ISA. And I can say that in confidence because I know that there are companies out there that will have matching schemes. So please, that one piece of advice that I can give you is go and speak to your HR department, ask about your auto-enrollment, ask about your workplace pension scheme, and try and get an understanding of how that really works. I do coach people on these things one-on-one. Okay, look, what do you need to understand about your workplace pension scheme? What do you need to understand about your lifetime ISAs? How might it best work for you? So if that's something that will be of interest to you, I'll put that link to in the description. But please go and ask these questions, have these conversations, make sure that you know that basic information so that you can make the best informed decision as possible, because that's what this is all about. It's making sure that you know what you need to do now so that you're prepared and able to build for the future. So in summary, lifetime ISAs are great. If you're a first-time buyer, then it's an absolute no-brainer. However, if you are going to be looking at using a lifetime ISA to save for the future, potentially for retirement, then you really need to start asking the questions of whether a pension is going to be the better place for you. I firmly believe that it will be, because there is so much more flexibility, there's so much more freedom, there's so many more benefits that you get with a pension over and above a lifetime ISA. If anybody tells you any different on YouTube, they don't know what they're talking about. And this is all about information and experience. I've worked in this sector for a good number of years, so I do know what I'm talking about, and this is my strong belief. But again, I would encourage you, do further research, speak to your HR department, and try and make sure that you're equipped with all of the information that you need so that you can make the best financial decision possible. But I hope you've enjoyed this. I'm always open to answering questions, and you guys are not shy about asking questions. So if you do have any, make sure that you leave some in the comments. I do read every single comment that I get. I do answer every single question that I get. So feel free to ask me a question, leave comments if you need them. And if you've not listened to my podcast, make sure that you do check it out. It is right there. It's on Apple Podcasts, Google, and Spotify. It is also on Stitcher. But that's where I talk about, investing, property investing, how to negotiate a better wage. I talk about everything that has to do with money. If you haven't followed me on IG, make sure that you follow me on there as well. Oh, by the way, guys, I've got a couple of things to announce in terms of a couple of events that I'm putting together at the moment. They will be due in August, but I am doing a Q&A this Sunday at 9 p.m. So if you're watching this and you've got some follow-up questions and you don't want to put it in the comment, you want me to answer you one-on-one via a live, I'm going to be available Sunday at 9 p.m. I look forward to seeing you there. But if I don't speak, have a great weekend, and yeah, don't be shy, leave a message, and also make sure that you smash the subscribe button, and also like and share this. Sharing this will really help me out, because guess what, I do want to get eyeballs on this video, and it really does help me out with the YouTube algorithm. So guys, take care, catch you later.